In a quiet village surrounded by towering mountains lived Kiran, a modest young man with an extraordinary dream to conquer Mount Arjuna, the tallest and most dangerous peak in the region. The villagers laughed at his ambition, for Kiran was neither wealthy nor famous, unlike Veer, the celebrated mountaineer who reveled in the spotlight. Veer's daring climbs were the pride of the village, and he made sure everyone knew it. One day, Kiran quietly announced his intention to climb Mount Arjuna. The villagers scoffed.
"Climbing is not for dreamers,"
Veer said with a smirk.
"It's for those with strength, skill, and experience."
Kiran simply nodded and began his preparations in silence. While Veer assembled a grand team, imported expensive gear, and practiced in public, Kiran woke before dawn to train alone. He scaled smaller peaks, mapped routes, and studied the mountain's harsh weather. His progress was unseen, his efforts unacknowledged. When the climbing season arrived, Veer and his team departed with a grand send-off. Drums beat, villagers cheered, and Veer promised to bring glory to the village. In contrast, Kiran left at dusk, alone and unnoticed. The climb was brutal. Veer's team faced avalanches, freezing winds, and exhaustion. Despite their boasts, they underestimated Mount Arjuna's challenges. Veer's confidence began to falter as his team turned back halfway, declaring the mountain unbeatable. Meanwhile, Kiran pressed on, undeterred. He carried only essentials, relying on his training and inner resolve. Each step was harder than the last, but his dream burned brighter than the cold that bit at his skin. He climbed slowly, carefully, and with unwavering determination. After weeks of solitude and struggle, Kiran reached the summit. The world stretched below him, a vast expanse of clouds and endless sky. There was no crowd to cheer, no one to witness his triumph. But Kiran felt no need for recognition. Quietly, he planted a simple flag and whispered,
"Thank you, mountain."
Returning to the village days later, Kiran found Veer regaling the villagers with exaggerated tales of his failed climb. No one had noticed Kiran's absence, and he slipped back into his routine, content in his silent victory. Months later, travelers stumbled upon the flag at the summit and brought word of Kiran's success. The villagers were stunned. Veer, humbled, approached Kiran.
"You climbed what I could not, and without a crowd to applaud you. That takes true greatness."
Kiran smiled and replied,
"Success is not in being seen, but in reaching the peak you set for yourself."
From then on, the villagers spoke of Kiran not as a bragger but as the man who taught them the art of quiet success. His story became a reminder that true strength lies not in showing off but in enduring the climb.